morning, dear students, and welcome to English class. Today, we are going to continue with our discussion of the poem The Gift of India. In the last class, we had done till stanza 2, and we saw that in the second stanza of the poem, the speaker, Mother India, shows the sacrifice of the Indian soldiers. Now, these brave sons of India who fought and gave up their lives are buried in mass graves in the foreign countries where they died. They were away from their homeland, and even their bodies did not get the comfort of finally resting in their own motherland. The speaker says that they sleep by the Persian waves and are scattered like shells on Egyptian sands. The phrase pale brows and brave broken hands intensifies the image of death and devastation in the second stanza. The bodies are scattered like carelessly trimmed flowers in the battlefield of Flanders and France. The poet's use of the word by chance speaks or shows that according to Mother India, the soldiers did not deserve to die. So, also by making use of a comparison, that is a simile, the warriors have been compared to blossoms, and this shows that Mother India looks upon them as a valuable human resource. The blood brown meadows expresses the horrors of war and war fronts in a rich poetic language, though completely contrasting with the subject of the poem, but it is used metaphorically here. Now we move to stanza 3, where Mother India is speaking these lines to the foreign countries. She says, "Can ye measure the grief of the tears I weep, or compass the woe of the watch I keep, or the pride that thrills through my heart's despair, and the hope that comforts the anguish of prayer, and the far sad glorious vision I see of the torn red banners of victory." So let us try to understand this stanza. First, we'll understand the keywords. Now, ye here means you. Can ye measure the grief of the tears I weep? So, can you, talking to the foreign countries, Mother India is asking that if they can measure her grief and her tears, or know her woe, her suffering, when she watches all those things. Or compass the woe. Compass means understand. Woe, feeling of great pain or sadness. Or the pride that thrills through my heart's despair. So, despair means there is pain in her heart, and the disappointment, and the hope that comforts the anguish of prayer. Anguish of prayer, the pain in her heart while praying, and the far sad glorious vision I see. What is this far sad glorious vision? Now, this glorious vision refers to her vision of true freedom. But this vision is sad because it would also result in the loss of the lives of many Indian soldiers. Now, torn red banners of victory, the victory gained at the cost of Indian soldiers' blood. So, so the victory gained at the cost of the lives of Indian soldiers, the blood of Indian soldiers. Now, in this particular stanza, we see that the speaker is talking to the foreign countries. She, in fact, is asking them if they can measure her grief and her tears, or if they can compass, understand her woe, her suffering when she watches all her brave sons dying in the war. She says that in fact these foreigners can never fathom, can never understand the pride that thrills through her heart. You need to understand. So she feels pride in it also. Along with her disappointment, suffering, Mother India also experiences a sense of pride. So she is asking the foreigners that if they can, she in fact is telling that these foreigners can never fathom, can never measure the pride that thrills through her heart in spite of her despair. The poet is suggesting here that the speaker, despite her sadness and deep rooted anguish, is proud of her sons who fought bravely and brought victory. She gives expression to the voices of countless Indian mothers whose sons have fought in the war. The poet says that the people of the warring nations can never comprehend the small hope that comforts these mothers from the pain of praying for their sons' safety. So these mothers, while they are praying in anguish, but at the same time, they are also hopeful. They have the little hope that some of them may safely return. So that comforts them. Now, Mother India is also asking these foreigners that if they can understand the vision of glory she sees. What is the vision of glory she sees? Far, sad, glorious vision I see. Now, in fact, this vision of Mother India is a sad one because she has lost her sons for that vision. What is that vision? Glorious vision. Attainment of freedom. Okay. Attainment of freedom, true freedom, which India would attain from the British. Now, this vision of complete freedom from the Britishers is a glorious one, but at the same time, it is a sad one because to achieve this vision, Mother India has lost many of her sons. The torn red banner of victory, which has come at the expense of so much blood, is sad and meaningless to her. The rhetorical question beginning in the third stanza, that is, can ye measure the grief of the tears I weep, or compass the woe of the watch I keep? This is a rhetorical question. This rhetorical question adds beauty to the poem and enumerates the distress of the speaker, that is Mother India. Now, already as explained in the last two lines of the poem, the poet wonders if those people can also see the far sad glorious vision that she sees of the torn red banners of victory. The poet looks certain of the victory that would come with the efforts of her children. Yet she finds no pleasure for the sacrifices that are irrevocable. The torn red banners of victory symbolizes the blood of Indians who sacrificed their lives for the victory of their colonizers. Now, this stanza, in fact, sees Mother India asking other nations whether they can measure her grief or the tears that she weeps for her fallen sons or dead sons. She asks them whether they can calculate the sorrow of the watchful eyes that are waiting for her children or the pride that overpowers the despair of her heart. She asks them whether they can experience the hope that she feels while praying for the safety of her children and the sad, glorious vision she sees of the torn flags of victory covered with the blood of her martyred sons. Nobody will ever be able to fathom the suffering she has been through, and nobody will ever be able to compensate for the sacrifice made by her brave sons. So, this is what the third stanza is about. And this particular stanza, as you can see, is replete with pathos, and it has the intensity of the emotions experienced by Mother India. And if you see the beginning for form of the line, okay, it begins with the same words or words. Now, like, can you, okay, or compass or the pride, okay. So all these words. So the way this technique of repeating the words at the beginning of consecutive lines is known as anaphora, and this is very often used in speeches and expression of emotions, which the stanza effectively is and the poem also is. Now, what we need to remember is that the war was still going on when this poem was written. Now, it wasn't only the anguish over the death of the soldiers, but there was also the hope of many being alive, which racked the emotional frame of the sobbing country. Numerous soldiers went missing. Many families offered hopeful prayers of hopelessness and awaited the homecoming of their sons. Some were consumed by the hope, for we know hope is also a dangerous thing. It consumes you from within. Now, the mother is proud of the sacrifices made by her sons for the greater good, and this pride thrills through her heart's despair. The poet sees the far sad glorious vision of the torn red banners of victory, the victory which will be bright by the efforts of her children is glorious, but it will also be a sad one, for some sacrifices are too great to be replaced by winning. The banners of victory are torn and red, for it is bathed in the blood of Indians who sacrificed their lives for the victory of the British Empire in the war. Now, let us do stanza 4. Now, here in stanza 4, Mother India says, when the terror and the tumult of hate shall cease, and life be refashioned on the anvils of peace, and your love shall offer memorial thanks to the comrades who fought in your dauntless ranks, and you honor the deeds of the deathless ones. Remember the blood of thy martyred sons. So, this stanza 4 we'll do in the next class. Thank you for watching and stay blessed.